dog's world. A dog's world. It is a dog's world where I am concerned, especially when I painted this. Little do you know, before I was a human parent, I was very much a dog parent. I really truly didn't believe that I would be anything but. I imagined myself as like, honestly, a crazy old lady living in the mountains with like 20 dogs. That's how I kind of imagined myself. But you know, it's okay, we've moved on. I showed dogs, I showed American Pitbull Terriers. Dogs have taught me everything, and I always tell everyone that dogs taught me how to be a parent. My dogs taught me how to be in a relationship. My dogs taught me how to teach. They were a great teacher for me. Back in the day, when I was in college, I was looking for a dog. I said to one of my friends, this is so awful, you guys. I said to one of my friends, well, I know it's the kind of dog I am not gonna get. And she's like, what is that? And I said, a pit bull. And she was, you know, her eyes were, I just remember like big, you know, and I said, she said, why? Do you even, like, do you know a pit bull? And I was like, no. And she's like, do you know what they look like? And I was like, no, I have watched the news. And then she said, well, you sound stupid. She said, this is actually a really powerful statement. She said, if you're going to be so adamant about hating something, maybe you should get a book and read about it first. So I did. I'm a nerd. I like to learn. So I got a book on pit bulls, really with the intention to prove how much I don't like them, because I even went ahead and said to her, and I'm so sorry, I actually said to her, I think all pit bulls should be destroyed. So I got the book and I'm reading about the pit bulls. I'm reading about how tenacious they are. And I'm reading about how that tenacity could be used for good or used for evil. And the reason why they're aggressive and the reason why they're fighting is just because they want to please. It has nothing to do with the dog's aggression. So then I decided maybe I'd like to try a pit bull. Maybe I should get a pit bull. Why not? I've turned my leaf and I've realized that maybe I was wrong. I tried to adopt a pit bull because, you know, that's what you do. You go adopt first. You adopt before you shop. Adopted the most beautiful brindle and white male pit bull. He was gigantic. His head was like this big. And so I put him in the back of the pickup truck and I drove to my little apartment, and my apartment had a big yard though. I got the dog out of my truck. He jumped and he clamped his giant jaws right into my face like an alligator, and I was like, ah! Too much dog, I don't know what to do. I am actually terrified of this beautiful beast. I am terrified. So the dog never even made it into my yard. I'm really sorry. And so they were like, we will take the dog. So then I began the journey of looking for the right dog. And I started going to different places that had puppies and pit bulls and trying to like look at all the different situations until I found the right place. And I thought it was gonna be the same old thing I'd seen already before, which was like some mama dog in the laundry room on a pile of clothes with some dirty puppies. That's what I had seen. And then I went to this house. The guy who answered was a Marine. And I only say that because his house was in order. He said, well, I'll take you out back. That's where they are. And I thought, oh, here we go. I'm gonna see out back, and it's gonna be some thing that I don't know how to handle. When we went out back, it was beautiful. Like just all this room, all these dogs, but it was just like, it was like my heaven, honestly. It was just dogs and rows, but they were all clean and they were all happy, and I was like, this is amazing. And so we went in to see the puppies, and they were 2 weeks old. There was one of his little spots, like right on his hip, it looked like a heart. It was the shape of a heart. And so I was like, that's the one. And I was in college, so I didn't have the money to pay for this. Purebred pit bull just said, well, I'm gonna earn the money and I'll just keep paying you every week until the puppy's ready to go home. So I spent the next few weeks paying off my puppy, and but then I had to ask that guy. I was like, I need you to teach me, because I'm afraid, but I really want to learn, and I was wrong, and I want to learn how good these dogs can be, and I want to learn how to use their tenacity for good. I started to learn so much. My little puppy, his name is Mojo. I am maybe gonna cry now because I didn't mean to talk about Mojo, but I'm not surprised that I did, because Mojo was one of my greatest first teachers ever. Mojo changed me big time. He was the best thing, he really was. And I learned about behaviors. And you have to understand, I mean, as an artist, I know I've mentioned this, I was an introvert beyond what you could know. I mean, I was borderline reclusive, and the dogs really helped me get out of my skin because I started taking them to shows. I started teaching. I learned how to train. We did agility. We did protection training. And I learned this mutual respect for another creature. So to me, is it a dog's world? It is. To me, is it a coincidence that God reversed his dog? Not really. To me, have I always thought in dogs we trust? Yes. A dog's world. I have a puppy right now. It is a dog's world. My life right now, this many years later, it's still a dog's world. And I still learn daily from the dogs in my life. This painting, A Dog's World, I brought it out because the figure is wearing a mask. 25 years ago or whenever, when this painting evolved, the mask. Why did I put a mask on this figure? When you look at the dog's body language here on the left panel, it's upside down, or the dog is on its back. So you could look at this as, I think, about 3 different ways. When you see a dog in this position, this dog is either an aggressive dog, his teeth are showing. The dog is on his back though, in a submissive position. And the third thing would be that this dog is playing, because dogs often are on their back and rolling around and make that exact same gesture when they're playing. So again, you have to be perceptive enough to understand, is this dog aggressive? Is this dog submitting, or is this dog playing? It's kind of important. Those are all very extremely different scenarios. And the other question would be, who do you empathize with? Who do you identify with? When you look at this piece, do you identify yourself as the aggressor? Do you look at the dog that's on its back and you imagine that you're above the dog? As a trainer, I've done that so many times where I have put a dog into submission and I have been on top of the dog physically. Is that how you think? Or do you relate to the dog and you feel like you're submitting? And I think the mask comes into play for those exact same reasons. A mask can also feel somewhat like a submission, like we have to submit. Some of us, the mask can be kind of playful. It can. That's why we're putting our art on some masks, because the mask doesn't have to be aggressive. The mask does not have to mean that you are submitting. The mask could just mean that you're going with the flow and you're playing. And I think that is really what inspired me to bring this out now, is because think about now when we're trying to read people's gestures, behaviors with mask, we lose some of our information when we can't see their mouth. And so I think, again, that's why it's really up for us to be instinctual, where we're paying attention and we're really picking up on the energy that is happening in front of us, so that we understand the context behind it. And so important in art, in life, to understand the context of what is around you, what you're looking at, because you could get it wrong easily. We can continue to just be blind and see things the way we want to see them and make them fit our storyline, or we can actually pay attention to the cues that we're receiving from all our senses, like an animal, like an instinctual animal, and we can actually make informed decisions and react more appropriately so that we can get it right more often. I think of Mojo, how ignorant I was, and how ignorance is so dangerously steeped in fear. What if I never would have met Mojo? Like, what if I would have carried that almost hatred towards like a certain animal, a certain breed? I think that we all need to look at what we are afraid of and get a book and read about it. I know this autumn or fall season is different for us, and it looks different. We're wearing our costumes and masks before it's time. It feels different. So use your senses and really lean into the playfulness. Try to make the best of it. Fight the good fight. If this painting resonates with you, then that tells me that you too think it's a dog's world. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.